how's it going? It's going good for me. This afternoon, I'm done. I finished the script. It's done. It's 85,000 words. It's long, okay? It's long. We're at a point where, oh, there's a heel here. That's useful. It's the longest fucking script I've ever written. This is a novel. This is so fucking long what I've written for this Homestuck video. It's just, god damn. Double Death of the Author is the culprit. It went on. It's a comic that never ends. It's such a long. I go into it more in the video when I eventually record the Double Death of the Author. But Double Death of the Author goes on for a while, and it was 2 entire hours. 20,500 something words is what Double Death of the Author came out to. It's a movie length recap of that one segment in particular. Is how long Double Death of the Author is. Oh boy, it's so fucking long. And like the thing about Double Death of the Author is that it's this long comic that goes on for so long. And like a good example of this, I'm pretty sure it's the longest conversation in Double Death of the Author. I actually did a word count on it. It was, Jesus Christ, I almost fucking died to an emolga. Holy stupid fucking crit. There's one conversation in Double Death of the Author. It's where the nobles fight while they're waiting to fight Caliborn and Makeup. And it just drags on and on and on. And I word counted it. And it was fucking like 14,000 something. And it ended up working out kind of well. Because do you know what the word count of my video up into the point where I started talking about? Like 14,000 words into my Double Death of the Author segment, I get to the 14,000 word 14,000 word conversation, so I can like explain visually, this is how long this conversation is. It's very long, isn't it? Yeah. They like say at the start of it, okay, Caliborn's gonna be here in 20 minutes, and then they talk for 90. Like, God, that conversation just it went on forever. It was such a long fucking conversation, and like it just, that's the problem with it. And immediately after that, we get some good stuff. There are good plot elements later on in Double Death of the Author. It eventually does become a genuinely pretty good comic. But also, it is just shocking that after hundreds of thousands of words, after endless conversations that never know when to fucking end, that it ends with more than 100,000 words of lily pad conversations split in this like open bound. Just okay, we never had Rose and Sullox talk. Do we have anything for them to say to each other? No, but they didn't talk, so we should have a conversation for them that goes on for a few hundred words. And let's have 100 conversations like this where it's we don't have anything to say. There's nothing that the story adds from having these extra conversations at the end. But we're obligated. Like, oh god, it's just so fucking long. And also, I got the final ending like written up. There's a final ending in there, and I have my conclusion split in half. Most of it comes before the final ending. A little bit of it comes afterwards and puts a bow on the ending. But I'm calling it The Darkest Hour, and it's where I have a fake breakdown, like when a video essayist gets emotional. That's all lies. It's not real. It's like acting, and it may be the actual emotions they're feeling when they write that bit, but like video essayists don't actually feel emotion. So when I have a breakdown over Double Death of the Author and ask why am I even making the video, like that was months ago I had that reaction, and that's a long part where I do this climax and I come close to figuring out what the point of this video is, and I have a few, like 1,000 or so more words at the end to wrap up the video after I do the final ending. And it does end in a pretty positive, I really like how this video is going to end, but the point is, I got half of the video left. Because I took time to write this, I didn't get Mr. Tambourine Man done. I'm either going to get that done today or tomorrow, though, so that's fine. But I mean, after that, I got the three longest endings. The final ending, which is 7,000 and change. Double Death of the Author, which is 8,000 and change. And then, of course, the 20,000 word Double Death of the Author. Burning Down the House is the 8,000 one. I misspoke a second ago. And it's going to take me so much work over the next 7 or so weeks to get it done. And I think I can get it done, but it's going to be hard. I also have to do the climax and stuff, but like The Darkest Hour will not be hard to edit. It's a lot of, I think a sizable portion of it is just going to be me talking on a black screen because there isn't images to go with it. It's me talking about, it's just me talking about stuff. All right, there's a boss fight with Charon. I forgot about this. Let me look up the Nuzlocke tracker. What does he even have with this? I mean, I assume it's a normal team. I don't know how it's adjusted. My goal in this video is to get through Twist Mountain, but I don't remember how to get through Twist Mountain. I forgot to mark Skyla's beat. There, beat Skyla. Mark victory, yeah. And then you can't see what I'm doing. He starts out. He only has 4 Pokemon. Oh, this is a joke. Right, he heals your Pokemon before the. Oh wait, no, I healed my Pokemon, or maybe he re-healed. But the point is, I'll be fine. Yeah, I'll do fine against him. Another reason I'm like a day behind is because I did half the video at that point. I rewarded myself by taking a night off and seeing a movie because I have to do it for a video. I saw A Brave New World, the new Captain America movie, and I got thoughts of it. First off, it was at this new theater that, there's no theater in my hometown, but there's a town 20-25 minutes away. He says your strength is incredible when I'm hitting him with strength. That's unintentional, but whatever. New theater, and like they closed down the old one. I'm just like, well, I guess there's no movies now. I'm here, and I'm talking to my coworker, and he's like, no, they opened a new, better theater like as soon as the old one closed. Oh, so I went to that new theater, and it was a nice theater, but they're figuring out the kinks. God, a lot of criticals making me almost die this episode. That's bad because I've got this great team that is surprisingly tough. But yeah, I go to that new theater and I misread the time. The 3D show was the one then, and the one in 2 hours was the normal show. And so I went got dinner, and I sat in my car for an hour because I'm not going to a 3D movie. They give me migraines. I hate 3D movies. I go, and the movie doesn't start. There's tech issues, and the movie doesn't start. Half an hour later, after I've been sitting there, it starts without the sound, and then goes for 15 minutes, and then they start it again, and it's good. But anyway, Brave New World. I walked away from that movie satisfied because I knew it was a thing I could get a long, interesting video out of, because it's a film that isn't very good, but it isn't very good in ways that are interesting to talk about, but not in ways that make the actual film industry interesting. The point is, Brave New World, man, I got some of my thoughts on that. First off, I just like to note they recap so much early in that movie, because no one's seen Incredible Hulk or the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so it's just like some very blatant recap. Like, we see Sam block some bullets with his wings, and then a soldier who's working with him, presumably been working with him for years, because, like, Torres has, this soldier's like, whoa, how did he do that? Captain America has wings made out of vibranium that he got from the Wakandans. And they, like, at the start, there's just a news recap of, like, everything that Ross did in previous films. It's just so much fucking recap edit. But no, it's, God, it's not even a bad movie. If it was a bad movie, that would be interesting. It's a movie that I have nothing, it's a movie that exists. It is completely adequate in being made, but has absolutely nothing below the surface to say or that is interesting. It is a bland film. So it starts with it starts with President Harrison Ford, who has replaced William Hurt as General Ross, being elected president, and he's like, "We need to come together and move past political discourse and be to have togetherness," which is kind of what the film is about. I'll talk more about the themes in a second. And I gotta say, this is gonna be a hot take because I've heard a lot of praise of Harrison Ford's performance, and people say, "Oh, he's the heart of the movie." I didn't like Harrison Ford in this movie because he has to measure up against the late William Hurt, who played Ross in a bunch of other movies, and I think William Hurt did a better job because he was so good at just making this character an asshole. Like, he exuded asshole energy, and Harrison Ford is just like Harrison Ford. He's just being Harrison Ford. He doesn't come across as an asshole, and that sucks because Ross works best when he's being an asshole, you know? But yeah, Harrison Ford's in it, and he's fine. So he gets elected president, and nope. And they. It starts. First opening scene is Sam, Captain America, doing a mission in Mexico, and right off the bat, pause. What the fuck do you mean he's doing a mission in Mexico? That's not his fucking jurisdiction. He's working with the United States Air Force on this. The United States military just fucking invaded Mexico at the start of this film, and no one gives a shit. What? And like, that's like right after the film was filmed, that started being like a main talking point of like Donald Trump. And like, I'll talk about Trump in a second, but like, oh, it begins with the U.S. invading Mexico? Sam shouldn't be. Captain America should not be invading Mexico. That's the hot take I'm going to stick with. And he's certainly, like, you could argue, well, superheroes are like independent citizens. They work alone. He's working with the United States Air Force, man. Or maybe the Army. I don't fucking know what branch, because they have fucking play. The point is, there's soldiers with him. The United States military invaded Mexico at the start of that movie to get back a canister full of a MacGuffin that was stolen by Giancarlo Esposito. And I gotta say, Giancarlo Esposito is an incredible actor. No one can deny that. I love him as an actor. He was so good in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, which I'm rewatching. He's kind of wasted in this movie because, like, Giancarlo Esposito, his skill is being this intimidating, cunning villain. And in this movie, he's just like a generic mercenary who has a few fight scenes, and he's not a good action star, and he's not the intimidating, manipulative villain who's controlling everything. That's whoever it is who plays Sebastian Stan. He was in The Incredible Hulk 16 years ago, and he came back. Giancarlo Esposito's wasted. But anyway, Captain America steals back the canister, and I actually do like, as not the execution of it, but as like a setup for the plot, what he's stealing back is adamantium, as in Wolverine juice. And where are they getting adamantium? From the fucking Celestial from Eternals. Like, yes, I like this. I like taking the plot elements of other movies and using them together. Like, mixing together the plot elements of these different movies to tell a story about this world unfolding over time and the political challenges that come from it. Like, Winter Soldier. This film gets a lot of comparison to the Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier made sense. It worked because the villain's plot line is taking after what's going on in this franchise at that time. That this is right after the Avengers, where there was this big alien invasion, and that's making people paranoid and willing to give up freedom for security. That's cool. They don't really do that great. The adamantium plotline kind of sucks, though. They don't do good. It's a good setup, but they don't land it. And I like to say that one of Sam's friends in this movie is like this soldier who they don't say his name in his first couple scenes, and he's this big, buff, hairy dude with like a long brown beard, and they're talking about adamantium, and I'm like, wait, is this guy gonna be Wolverine? No, he's just some random fucking dude named Duffy who gets murdered by the leader. And I guess that's better than him being Wolverine, because he was a nothing. But I tricked myself into thinking that's what they were gonna do. Don't smack me down, you fucker. But anyway, he So the adamantium gets stolen, and Sam steals it back, and he gives it to President Ross, Harrison Ford, and Ross has this big meeting at the White House with representatives from India, France, Japan, and the United States, who are the countries who are claiming to have ownership over this island in the middle of the Indian Ocean. Japan and India, I can understand geographically. I mean, they're realistically they're probably fucking be China in there. But you know what? Sure. Why is France there? I mean, like they don't acknowledge it, but like, why the fuck is France and the United States here? They hold on. Let me look up. Hold on. I'm sure there's a Marvel wiki. What's the specific location of the Celestial Island? Because like they said, team at the communicator. Where location. Don't say Indian Ocean. Let's see. Yeah, they just say Indian Ocean. So I guess that could be Japan, and I guess that could be India. But actually, realistically, there's probably other countries that would have naval claims to it. But the point is, the U.S. and France are there because they're the U.S. and France. They're fucking empires. They don't give a shit. But the film isn't really about, wow, the U.S. is a big empire that's swinging its dick around. It does treat it as just like a given that the U.S. will be able to claim an island off the coast of Japan for military reasons. So there's this big conference, and Sam shows up, and he brings along Torres, his sidekick, the new Falcon, who I have no strong feelings about this character. And also Isaiah Bradley, that character from The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, who was played by Carl Lumbly, who is the best performance in this movie. He does a great job. Carl Lumbly is great with the anguish and the fear in later scenes. And they go there, and President Harrison Ford is like, hey, Sam, you need to recreate the Avengers, but they work for the government. And Sam's like, no, I can't do that. But hold on, you're working a scene ago. You were working for the army. What the fuck? I guess you are okay with that. And also, does he have the authority to reestablish the Avengers? Like, he is an active member of the Avengers. I don't know if the Avengers have like a charter or rules about who can like call them into service. I guess Sam could as a former member. I think Sam's the only active former member at this point. Like, Iron Man's dead, Captain America Classic is dead, Black Widow is dead, Hawkeye's retired, Hulk is retired, Thor is hanging out with his daughter in space, Vision is dead, Quicksilver is dead, Scarlet Witch she's probably alive, but she was evil and is presumed dead. I'm just listing Avengers. War Machine, I think he's retired. I didn't watch Secret Invasion. I knew he did a thing in that. So yeah, I think Sam might be... Rocket and Nebula are alive, but they aren't on Earth anymore. Captain Marvel, I don't actually think she was an official member ever. The point is, Sam's the only Avenger left, so I guess he could reestablish the Avengers. And at the end, he's like, I'm going to reestablish the Avengers. Shit, no, it was a Woobat, which I've already caught. I was so concerned talking about Captain America that I almost killed a wild encounter. But I guess Sam could reestablish the Avengers. No. Do I have a boulder? I do not have a boulder, so I'm going to catch a boulder. I genuinely do not remember if that Woobat was my first encounter. I'm going to catch it anyway. It's not my fault. I got distracted by talking about Captain America. But anyway, and Sam's like, oh, I don't know about that because we were enemies. And Ross is like, let's let the past be the past and get past this political stratifaction. And then during his press conference about how they're going to do a treaty and they're going to split the Celestial between these four countries who have confusing claims on who gets to own it that I guess are realistic. Harrison Ford is like, hey, fuck you, Wakanda, for having all your vibranium in the middle of it. And anyway, as he's giving this speech, Isaiah and a bunch of Secret Service agents just fucking pull out guns and try and murder the president, but they all miss. And it's later revealed that they missed on purpose, because that's what they were breaking true. And, like, Isaiah goes to jail and he's terrified because, fucked up backstory where he was in an American prison and tortured for years. And Sam's trying to set free his. Sam's trying to fix the reputation of his friend who was brain controlled into being an assassin. And you're like, wait a minute, that kind of sounds like, yeah, it does sound like that, but it's fine. Isn't it winter? It's February. Why isn't it winter in game? So Sam starts investigating, and I'm going to skip ahead. He eventually learns that actually the mind control was done by the leader, yes, who was thrown in jail without a trial by Ross after Incredible Hulk. He was a scapegoat for Harlem being destroyed, and he wants a presidential pardon, and he didn't get one. So he's doing his elaborate scheme to humiliate the president, and he has mind control tech, which is bad from a narrative standpoint. You can't give a character mind control powers if you're not going to be really smart about them, because that just creates so many problems. Like, the leader tries to kill Captain America a few times because he's like interfering with his plans, but you have mind control tech. You could just fucking mind control him into going along with them. Actually, why don't you just mind control the president into pardoning you, because that was your big goal. And his ultimate plan is he's trying to stress out he's doing a bunch of random shit to try and stress out the president so he'll turn into a Hulk, because he gave him Hulk powers secretly when he cured his heart disease before the film. But like, it's so elaborate, his like schemes to like cause Harrison Ford to be stressed, like is like, you see, I will steal the adamantium from the Japan and then tell the U.S. about it so the U.S. can steal it back and give it to Japan as part of the treaty, and then the Japanese government will not trust them because they can clearly see that the Americans were behind this elaborate scheme that didn't benefit them in any way, and then Japan will pull out of this military treaty. Now you may be wondering, well, if it's a military treaty over contested land to stop war, doesn't that mean that Japan and the US are now on the verge of war? Yes! And like, what the fuck is the Japanese Prime Minister's deal in this movie? Like, yeah, President Harrison Ford's a fucking asshole, but like, you were rude to me you were rude to me, Harrison Ford, so I'm pulling out this military treaty that's gonna stop war between our two nations. What the fuck are you doing? Okay, so you're gonna go to the war with the US then? Is that what you want, Prime Minister? I hope you fucking lose, Prime Minister, because why would you go to war with the US? You didn't put any thought into this. You just randomly, you were rude to me by stealing that adamantium, so I'm going to send my military and to the place where your military is, and we can fight for this. And like, so the two nations are about to open fire on each other, and the leader mind controls the soldiers into like shooting at each other, and we got a really fucking cool action scene. It was a cool action scene, admittedly, of like Sam trying, Captain America, who can fly, versus some fighter jets trying to stop them from shooting each other down because that will cause a war. That was a cool scene. I'll give it that. That was a cool scene. And the reason the leader is doing this is to like try and stress out the president so he'll turn into a Hulk inside a battleship and like kill a bunch of American soldiers, then drown because he's in the middle of the fucking ocean. That's your plan? Okay. I can think of easier ways to humiliate him. Like, I don't even think people would think the president was responsible for that at that point. I think they would think, oh no, the president who was on this battleship for some reason was killed when the random Red Hulk showed up and killed everyone. Like, I think you would make him a martyr, leader. But anyway, Sam stops a war, which is good. And then, the president goes back to the White House, and then the leader stresses him out during a press conference, and he turns into a Hulk, and his Secret Service agents immediately open fire on the president. And like, what the fuck are you doing, Secret Service agents? You're bad at your job. You're not supposed to shoot the president. That's the opposite of what you're supposed to do as Secret Service agents. Like, I think he should be shot because he's a fucking asshole who like sent the military there to potentially blow up Japanese ships over this resource that the US has no fucking right to, but you're like his bodyguards. You're okay with that shit. So why are you fucking shooting him? Because he turned into a Hulk? So what? There's like a fucking Hulk who's like famous and like doing photos with kids in IHOPs. Like everyone loves the Hulk. Oh no, the president has red skin. We have to kill him now. What? You're fucking morons, you Secret Service agents. And they call in like fucking drone strikes on him. And he like fights back and loses control of himself and like destroys the White House. And he fights Sam by the cherry blossom trees. I want to talk about the cherry blossom trees because this like seems to me like there was an underpaid screenwriter whose ideas were just mangled by executive meddling, but still managed to get one kind of interesting idea in. Because like the cherry blossom trees, they're native to Japan, but there's a bunch of them in Washington D.C. which were, I don't remember the exact story, but like sent after World War II as like a reconciliation thing, and that kind of goes into what the very, very faint themes of the film are. And Ross talks a few times about how he loves seeing the cherry blossom trees with Betty, his daughter, as a when she was a child, but now she hates him because he was an asshole for years, and he's become president because he thinks that will make his daughter love him, and it's whatever. But like that is eventually what calms him down and makes him stop being a monster. And I think ultimately, I think what this film is about, people have said it's a political thriller that isn't political, and that's why it's bad. I do think there's a political message underlying it. I don't think it's a very good or deep political message, though, which is why it feels kind of flat. I think it's like, because this film had a very messy development history. It was filmed in the summer of 2023, presumably written before then, probably pitched in 2022. And I see this as okay, Trump's out of office. It's Biden now. We're good. We're past the fascism days. And I do see Harrison Ford as like a stand-in, if not for Donald Trump, but for Republicans and political extremism. Like Sam is obviously this, I was going to say leftist, but Sam's a big fucking lib, but he's the left side of the political spectrum, at least in this film. So like all this focus on reconciliation and togetherness and like moving past like being an asshole in the past, that's what I feel like the film's about. It's about like, okay, Harrison Ford, you stand in for like MAGA Republicans. You were a violent, destructive monster in the past, but you need to move past it, and so we can move on as a country and get along. And that's, it's a kind of shallow message, but it's fine. But the problem with filming a film, the problem with writing a film 3 years before it comes out is political situations change. And in real life, Red Hulk destroyed the White House and tried to murder Captain America, and then he got reelected, and now he's a dictator. So like we need to move past the Trump era and like get past this political extremism and get along with each other. Like Red Hulk is the bad guy. He's the one who's doing the bad things, but it's about him moving past them and becoming a decent guy. But the problem is, that doesn't really work because we aren't out of that era of political extremism and stratification because Trump is president again. This film was written. This film, like even the shots were before the election, and that just immediately destroyed any. That just immediately fucking shot in the knee that message they were trying to do, And the other thing is, we should talk about Ruth, who is an Israeli superhero in the comics, whose main character trait is that she's really fucking racist towards Palestinians and wears an Israeli flag costume, and they put her in this, and like they filmed the movie before the genocide, like things weren't good in Palestine in summer of 2023, but also, not active ethnic cleansing going on. Very fitting that, like, they didn't intend this, but it's very fitting that, like, the Mossad agent is working for the Trump stand-in. And she was fine. She was but like it was what I expected in level of bad, in that she's played by an Israeli actor, and I think the character is Israeli, but she's a Black Widow instead of a Mossad agent, and there's absolutely no mention of how much she fucking hates Palestinian civilians and wants them to be eradicated, which is for the best. It's still not a character. Why is this a character that you're putting in the movie? But whatever, it's fucking fine at this point. It could have been worse, and I was worried it would be worse. I would like to say they changed her costume, which is probably for the best, but what they changed it to is she's just wearing like a black jacket in the film that has like random blue lines on it, and those lines create a cross. You put a cross on okay, we can't have her wear the Israeli flag. That's bad. What should she wear? A cross? She could wear no symbol. I don't think they meant it to be a cross, but that's very clearly a cross with the blue pockets and like the the blue zipper. You gave her a cross instead of a Star of David, and that feels vaguely anti-Semitic. And at one point she does unzip her jacket, and it appears that she's wearing a comic costume underneath, but I can't really see the specifics because it's still covered by the jacket, and I had no strong feelings about this character. I don't like the character in the comics, but I had no strong feelings about her in the movie because she's just one of the president's bodyguards. And whatever. One of these is going to be a trainer that's going to pop up and kill me, but one of them is Stardust. And I think I'm going to try and get through the mountain this time. And that's my thoughts on the movie, and I'm going to say I'm going to call it We Have Winter Soldier at Home in my July video. We have the Winter Soldier at home. Anyway, Hound and Wolf. I misspelled that, I'm pretty sure, when I caught that boulder. On the epilogues video from last year is saying, I distinctly remember looking for an audio version of the epilogues, and some guy was eating a loud as fuck sandwich down his bike, saying, Normally I would take this more seriously, but Hussey doesn't care about this, so neither would I. So neither do I. It would have been one thing if you just didn't like it, but to actively make it harder for someone who does care about it to listen to the epilogues really rubbed me the wrong way. And yeah, that sounds fucking abysmal. And I do think, I'm never going to say that someone doesn't care about something they wrote. Like, I didn't like Double Death of the Author. It's clear they fucking cared about it because they wrote 300,000 words of it. You don't do that level of work if you don't care. You don't write a novel that's the length of Moby Dick because you don't care about what you're writing. That's too much effort to not care. And now, whatever. Stupid fucking toxic Homestuck fandom. The epilogues are really fucking good, by the way. You should read the epilogues if I haven't made that clear in all my talk about how much I love the epilogues. But yeah, read the epilogues because the epilogues are good. And I'm gonna put you to sleep because I've got a guaranteed hit from you. Never mind. I'm going to heal up is what I'm gonna do. Next gym's the ice gym, right? I should have a Conkeldurr by then, which will be nice. I don't even... Does Bryson have, like, a cryogonal, I think? I don't know. Why didn't I use... Like, whatever. I was gonna say why didn't I use Grass Knot, but it wouldn't have killed anyway. Because it's sturdy. And please tell me I'm almost done with Twist Mountain. I need to come back during winter to get the items, maybe if I want to, but I do not know the complicated like dungeons. There's some complicated dungeons in this game, but I've never like really played Black and White much, so I don't know them. Thank you for the max potion. Are we almost out of here? Do I have to go down to like the base camp? There's a doctor, but they're so far away. I need you to heal me. Physician, heal me. I need a doctor. Yeah. Where's my repels? Repels. Super repel. There we go. Yeah, so I'm hard to work on